when you really focus on that inner work, when you start to heal that belief, the core beliefs that hold you back, that's when you can truly begin to feel free inside. And that inner freedom and that inner peace and that inner grace is what manifests.
Hey everybody, this is Lori Scholler.
And I'm Jen Giamo.
And welcome to another episode of Everybody Talks, the podcast where we explore the wide world of wellness. Sometimes we talk to experts, sometimes we talk to each other, but we're always talking to you.
Every week we discuss topics from nutrition and exercise to mindfulness and self-care. And today we are talking about manifesting with the queen of manifestation. I am so excited.
You don't want to miss this one. Let's get started.
For nearly 2 decades, she's been on a mission to help millions of people through her best-selling books, podcasts, live talks, and virtual coaching. She's a spiritual teacher and one of my favorite gurus. She's been named a thought leader from the next generation of soulful thinkers by Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. What a cool title that is. And a new role model by the New York Times.
She has shared her own personal development methods and manifesting practices on international tours and shows like Good Morning America, Today, Live with Kelly and Mark, and she's here with us today, thankfully. Please welcome, we're very pleased to welcome Gabby Bernstein.
Yay!
How are you?
Great. Good. Running around.
Yeah,
I know.
Thank you so much.
Never sitting still.
You have a crazy schedule. So there's a ton of things we could talk to you about, but we decided to hone in on manifesting because manifesting is like your jam, right? And I just did your 21-day challenge in January.
Oh, right on. How'd it go?
It was great. So I'm still trying to kind of put the things into practice. I have all my notes but we'll get there because I need a little bit of help with that. But before we dive into this, I just want you to talk a little bit about your journey. I don't think everyone knows that I didn't know this until I read your books, that your journey started at a really young age. You were a teenager meditating in an ashram with your mom. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I started off my spiritual journey very young because I had this mom who was a real hippie and very into the Siddha yoga movement. And she would bring me to the ashram and she would give me my mantra and she had me named by the guru. And, I had all these experiences that were not that typical, particularly then. I mean, I think that there's many more spiritual moms these days, right?
Yeah.
So that was really an entree into what spirituality was. And it was also just normal for me, right? It was like, oh, this is just what it felt normal to me, but also like a little different, like no one else's mom's doing that with them. Yeah. But it was something that just became more natural as part of my life because it was in my life at a very young age. And I began my own meditation practice probably when I was like 16, like a devoted meditation practice, because I was going through some personal trouble with just feeling sort of inadequate, feeling depressed and anxious. And so I went to my mom and I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And so she gave me her mantra that it wasn't hers, but it was the Siddha Yoga mantra. I started practicing it. And in time, I really developed my own spiritual connection. And it's something that I've been developing for my whole life.
Yeah. And you were open about in your book that you struggled a bit in your 20s with some addiction issues and things. And I would imagine that having this practice and you were able to get yourself through that, probably, I don't want to say easier, but more so than someone else probably could have. But what was the catalyst there? What was the catalyst for you to get sober?
Well, I think you said it perfectly. It's kind of like recognizing that you have this other way of living, and then you've chosen a path that's completely the opposite, but you still know that there's another way. Yeah. So that knowing really was a seed that was planted, that was such a foundational element of my spiritual development and my ability to get sober on my own, not on my own through a program, but get myself into that program, to walk in the door, to say I need help, to admit that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs. And that changed the course of my life But I really think, to your point, having that spiritual foundation set it off to get me to a place where I was going to be able to really make that decision, have that foundation to know that that was the path to choose.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so let's move into manifesting. I only got to day 6 of your manifesting challenge, I have to admit.
Well, you have yeah.
Yes, I have the app. She tries with me. I believe you. I believe it works. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. So actually, this is for your listeners. I'm actually curious just to know what makes it, just so I could be even more helpful to people, right? Like, what are the feelings of resistance? Like, it's because I want to democratize self-help and spirituality and make it so much easier for people to access. And so even like, and I think it's sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it for me. I had very good, talk about setting intentions. I had very good intentions. I was going to do it. I knew we were talking to you. I wanted to, blah, blah. And, but yeah, I think that there's something daunting about taking time for something like this for yourself when you have other commitments in your day. You go to work, you have other things, family, whatever, that I think what halted me, there was like a 14-minute, I saw like the video was like, and I was like, the time was 14 minutes and I didn't even have that sit down the 14 minutes. And I was like, okay, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, once you fall behind and the emails are coming and it was, crazy.
This is super good feedback. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Now, how did you even develop this to manifest your own ideal life, which I think clearly has worked for you? Just the outside looking in.
I've been a spiritual teacher for 18 years, and I've been a spiritual student, as I mentioned, since I was young, and developing my own knowing of what having a spiritual life is and the ways to live beyond this day-to-day physical experience really has catapulted my own personal life. It has helped me reclaim who we all really are, which is we're all super attractors. We all have this innate essence inside of us that is calm and connected and aligned with spiritual connection and able to really be a magnet for what we desire. But we forget that. And so it became my commitment to others to remind people of that power within them and give them the tools that have greatly enhanced my life and to provide them with the tools to really take small actions towards that connection. And, your 14-minute comment makes it even more reinforces what I'm thinking, which is just the simple 2 minutes a day, just checking in. Inside my Gabby coaching membership app, I have this one section called the Get Gabby section. And in there, it's like these 2-minute, you're having anxiety, do this 2-minute thing. You can't sleep, 2 minutes. You need a miracle, 2 minutes. And I think that's the place, that's the place that people hang out the most on the app when you look at the data. And it's like, it's just what people need. They need like a simple meditative shift. And look, you guys are in daytime TV, you know what people want, right? And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think that simplicity is definitely will make people feel empowered to stay consistent. And that lots of little right actions is the steps to get to where it should be.
You know what's funny, Gabby,
right.
is that so I'm kind of the opposite of that. I feel like I need to do it longer and I'll look at something that's 14 minutes and I'm like, yes, I love it. I feel like if I'm not doing it for a longer period of time, then it's not working.
Yeah. I think
that's just me personally.
I think that there's something about, there's many different learning styles and there's many different types of ways that we can develop a spiritual connection. But my main message is, of course, the more time you spend doing something, the more time you spend in the gym, the stronger your abs will be. But if you do 50 push-ups a day and 50 sit-ups a day, like that's still a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Like little habits, cumulatively. Okay, so one of my favorite books is The Universe Has Your Back. I have to just talk about that for a second. I know you've had a million other books since then, but this idea of aligning ourselves with the positive energy of the universe and overcoming obstacles. How does a person align themselves? What does it mean to be in alignment?
Well, everything that you were doing in that 21-day journey was getting you in alignment with the energy of the universe. And that book, the subtitle of that book is Transform Fear into Faith. And so the practices and the methods inside The Universe Has Your Back are designed to really help you take those fear-based belief systems and offer them up, surrender more, reorganize them, become more connected to your spiritual connection, strengthening your faith. And as you follow those methods in that book, that is my most popular book for sure, you ultimately and naturally begin to develop a reconnection to that super attractor power, to that energy. So that's why I think you resonate with it so much, because it's not really about saying, oh, you have to go get something. It's about, no, you just have to remember that you have this connection.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I mean, I just want to interject. The Universe Have Your Back is a reason why we are such close friends as we are, because Jen had read your book. This is a short version of the story.
Very short. Make it short.
Very short. Had read your book, picked a sign. She picked a ladybug. You could tell me if I'm telling this wrong.
No. It was just
picked a ladybug. Happened to stay at my house for overnight with her boyfriend. We went to a street fair. I asked her, like, she's looking at all these weird
looking
bugs
around.
She's looking for the sign instead of just accepting that the sign's going to come to her. She told me that she was looking for a ladybug, and I said, there's a ladybug in the room that you slept in, which was like a painted rock. My mother, who has passed away when I was a teenager, loved ladybugs, and I have these painted stones that were hers that are in the room where she slept. And so it kind of cemented whatever, it made me a believer for sure, because we thought like, oh, we're, drawn to each other. There's a reason.
Yeah, totally.
And so whatever it was, we're locked together. And so I guess we have you to thank for that. So thank you very much.
Exactly.
And your mom.
And my
your mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do see ladybugs at certain times in our lives when we need to see them most. So
yeah, we do. And
I think your sign for your mom could be a ladybug.
Yeah, definitely true.
I guess this is the part I kind of struggle with. Like, how do you know when you're connecting? Like, is there a feeling that you get when you're kind of tapping into this higher power? What does that feel like?
How did you feel when you guys realized that the ladybug was there?
Yeah.
Our minds were blown.
It's that kind of, it was like all of a sudden, you're right. I felt this, I had a real belief. And I felt a connection.
Yeah. And it's the connection between us that's so strong. Like, it really doesn't break because of that,
Yeah.
As much as sometimes Jen would want to break it, I just want to say.
It's not true.
Not true. I know.
But I guess that's a good point. I feel like when I am meditating and even doing the manifestation challenge and stuff, that's the part that I struggle the most with, is like, I feel like I kind of come in and out of it. It's like, I think I'm there, but also I'm the kind of person who, like, I need it to happen. I need the outcome, and I need, like.
Well, I think that's that neediness, Jen, is what we want to reorganize, right? Yeah. Because the secret to manifesting is to forget what you think you need and to become more present with how you want to feel. And so I would recommend that you tap into that feeling that you felt with the ladybug, and the awe and the just magnitude of that moment, and remember that feeling is what we want to bottle. That's the feeling we want to cultivate. And when we start to cultivate that feeling more and more through meditation, through asking for these connections, through reading books like The Universe Has Your Back, using the app, whatever tools you are at your disposal, you will begin to develop that muscle.
Okay.
And that feeling becomes more natural.
Okay.
And then the needing becomes much less. And the receiving becomes second nature.
So I need to chill out. That's what you're saying. Trust and surrender. That's
surrender.
like
right.
a theme.
Right.
Trust and surrender.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely have that control issue. And I think you're right. I think that would definitely make me, I think, more receptive, but also
Yeah.
just like if I could relax about it.
If you're putting that energy out to the world, that's the energy you're going to continue to get back, and you're going to deflect what it is that you desire. And so it's not work. The joy is to really be in the wonder of what what is available to you just in the moment. Enjoy the relationship. Like if you were trying to manifest romance, you start by manifesting this love and this friendship that you both have, right? And that is an energy field. And so the more you're celebrating that kind of friend energy, the more you start to develop that grace inside of you, the more fun you're having, the sexier you are, the more attractive you are to people out in the world. I mean, period. That's just how it works.
Yeah. What would you say to people who, because I try to, well, with Lori too, I tried to like impose these ideas a lot on people, not impose them, but I share a lot of the stuff that I do. But what about people that just don't have the trust? Like they've never seen signs, they've never experienced this, and they don't have that trust. Like how do they cultivate it? What would you say to them?
Well, I don't love to try to convert the unconverted. No one's going to, it's attraction, not promotion, as they say in the 12 steps, right?
Sure.
So really just giving people grace and giving them the chance to develop what that means for them. And if they come to you and say, hey, what's that thing you're doing? Like, I'm so much happier. There's something cool going on. That's when you can say, well, why don't you try this thing, or just check out this book, or, just gentle.
Yeah. Gentle. Okay. I'll remember.
Gentle coaxing.
So one of the things, and I've been doing this since the Manifesting Challenge, and I feel like I've been doing this since every book I've read of yours, but affirmations. And I have these daily affirmations that I do. But sometimes I don't believe what I'm saying. Like how do you get in that?
Choose one that you believe in.
Okay.
Choose one that you believe in.
Okay. So I always feel like the more I say it, maybe the more I'll believe it.
Right.
Or
I really appreciate what you're saying, because if you don't believe it, then it's going to create more resistance inside.
Yeah.
Just keep it general, keep it simple.
Okay.
Reach for what you do believe in that moment.
Yeah. I want to believe it, but I don't always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you find that manifesting something is more successful if it seems less like a tangible? Is it like I want $1 million? You don't, or is like I want happiness and love? Like those are two very different
Lori.
things.
I think that ultimately we should just be gunning, that's the wrong word, but we should really just be aiming for happiness and joy.
Right.
When we're in that presence of just being free, feeling happy, being in our highest and best, then we start to attract more of what we want, which is maybe it's money, maybe it's relationships. But you can't people think like when I get that thing, I'll be happy. It's really quite the opposite. It's like when I'm happy, when I'm feeling good, I become a super attractor.
Yeah.
Or I let out that super attractor energy, because it's not something you have to become. You already have it.
You already have it. Yeah. One of the things that you talked about in May Cause Miracles was like this abundance mindset and prosperity consciousness, right? And you say, raise your self-worth, raise your net worth. That was one of the things that kind of stuck in my mind. Can you, and just you made me think of that when you said like I want $1 million, but like how do you think self-worth and financial abundance are connected, and what practices can we do? Because I want $1 million too.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of times what we think is that we will manifest by doing something or focusing so much attention here, but really we manifest what we believe. So if there's a lack of worth and there's a feeling of inadequacy or a feeling of lack or financial fear, things that we might have most likely grown up around, that needs an undoing of sorts, then I would say pick up my book, Happy Days, and start doing the undoing. Because I often joke, Happy Days is about, the subtitle is The Guided Path from Trauma to Profound Freedom and Inner Peace. And the reason that book, I say, is my greatest manifesting book, is because when you really focus on that inner work, when you start to heal that belief, the core beliefs that hold you back, that's when you can truly begin to feel free inside. And that inner freedom and that inner peace and that inner grace is what manifests. So people will come to me often thinking, okay, I'm going to do the challenge and I'm going to like get my energy straight. And they do. They reorganize their energy. They feel good. They start attracting things. But I really want to send everybody a copy of Happy Days to really get them back into a place of doing that deeper work so that the genuine transformation happens on the inside. And that's when change really occurs. And I can speak to that with full authority.
Okay. Well, then that's the only one I haven't read, and I have
know.
it. I do have it on my shelf, so I will. All right. So that's good advice. I like that.
Well,
I want to talk about like vibrational frequency a little bit and like raising your vibration. So, and you've talked about this and like having that vibrational frequency with positive emotions and gratitude. And again, like this is the part that I struggle with is like getting myself to that place where I feel like I'm, for lack of a better word, like vibrating high. How is there a simple way or a technique to help people to get there?
Well, Jen, what's fun for you?
What's fun for me? Being with my dogs.
Great. Okay. What do you do with your dogs?
Take them to the beach.
Oh, at the beach. Okay. And what do you do with them on a day-to-day basis?
Day-to-day basis. Well, I live by the beach, so I try to get to the beach.
You go to the beach every day.
Yeah, I can go to the beach every day.
Okay, good. And when you're at the beach with them, is there a way to make that even more fun? Like listening to an audiobook or like listening to a podcast you love or music that you love? Like, is there a way to make it even more awesome?
Yeah, I listen to your stuff because I do. I honestly do. Yeah. And I walk with them and I listen because God forbid I'm not doing something productive in one of the minutes of my day. So I have to do the double, But yeah, I would. And I listen to music and stuff too. But just being there with them, I really enjoy that.
That's when you're manifesting, Jen.
That's when I'm manifesting. Really?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because I walk through Central Park. That's where I do. That's like where I'm my happiest. And I don't think that I'm manifesting, but I probably am, even though I may not even be thinking about anything.
And what I would say, Lori, is like enhance that walk, right?
Yeah.
Put really great music on and like don't listen to the news and don't have bad conversations and just like really use that time as your tuned in time.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I feel like this is a revelation for me right now.
That's all.
No, that's awesome because that's the thing I do. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. And then kind of on that same note, it's like co-creating with the universe. You talk about this a lot too in Super Attractor. And, you have people participate in this co-creating their reality with the universe. What does that mean?
Well, I think that whenever we're praying or meditating or even enjoy with your dogs, you're aligning, which was your previous question, right? You're getting in connection with that feeling that feels good, feels connected, feels aligned with a higher vibration. That is getting in alignment with the universe. In that place, that's where you want to send out your desires to the universe. You want to say, all right, I'm having a good time with my dogs. I'm feeling so good. And I'm going to send out this big desire. I'm really looking forward to attracting more abundance into my life. And it feels so good right now because I'm feeling good. And I know that when I feel good, I can be in that power, super attractor power. And that whole moment is the manifestation. That is the co-creation with the universe. So you're in your high vibe place, you're setting your intentions, you're offering it up, you're asking for help, and it's all happening in that moment. And that's the co-creation.
I love that.
Wow.
I don't know why all of a sudden like it's all clicking for me right now as you're saying it.
Because you're actually talking to Gabby Bernstein.
It's true. Like again, like I've probably read your books more than once, and listened to them and highlighted and taken notes. But like as you're saying this to me, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like I get it. Yeah. I get it. Wow.
Beautiful.
I love that. Thank you.
If you have someone who, I'm a half believer, I want to say. So is there like any what's the baseline starting point for manifesting? Like you're at ground zero and you're just sort of, you kind of want to do this. You kind of believe, oh, what could it hurt? Can't hurt. It can only help. Like, what do you tell someone who's like just starting out?
Well, there's a desire, Lori, right? You're excited to have me on the show. You guys are in a good space. Like, you have this spiritual friendship. There's a strong desire. And the blocks to that becoming a full-blown experience, there's a lot of stories from our past that block us from believing that there is a power greater than us that can support us. And so my suggestion is just do one small thing daily to lean into that feeling. So today, the one small thing is having this conversation with me. Right. And tomorrow, maybe you do a Get Gabby 2-minute practice in the app. And the next day you read an affirmation, right? I'm adding to the Gabby coaching membership app, like a pull a card where you just swipe and you can pull a card. Lori, if you just pull the card every day, that's a good start, baby.
Yeah.
For the next year, if you just pull the card every day inside the app, you're doing it.
And you always have to be thinking about a certain thing like that you want to manifest. Like everyone says, like, oh, let's manifest this. We're gonna
you go to the beach and you go to the park, and then in that, when you start feeling good, then start to send it out.
Yeah.
Send the story.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here and taking the time. We really appreciate it.
You're so beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
No, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
That's my doorbell.
On that
Take
note.
care. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, at long last, Gabby
my God,
Bernstein.
I know.
That was super cool because
First I've been reading all her books for my whole life.
Totally. And that you, after reading and pounding in all of these things in your brain,
all I needed
what
was
happened?
That. All I needed was that.
Yeah.
I just needed a call with Gabby.
That's all you needed.
I mean, but that I know, you don't get this as much because you're not as in it as I've been in it. The Universe Has Your Back was the book, obviously, that we know that kind of solidified
that brought
our
us together.
Friendship.
Sure.
But it also was a time in my life when I was going through a really tough time.
Yes.
And I was grasping at straws and I was looking for things and signs and this. And it's I dove so deep into all of her stuff. And the funny thing, too, is as she's talking to us, I'm remembering listening to her in my ear.
Wow.
Walking on the beach, walking on the treadmill, and listening to her in my ear.
I have to say, her voice is so soothing.
Oh, my God. She's in the right profession, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's and she just, I think because she has lived this way for so long.
Yeah, well, that's the cool
she
part.
believes it.
Yeah, she believes it.
And she should believe it.
Right.
I'm not saying you shouldn't believe it. That didn't come out right. But,
yeah.
I really enjoyed talking with her because I feel like I was saying, I'm a half believer.
I know.
From my perspective,
yeah.
I see two things I want to say.
Okay. Uh-oh.
I see, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna, that's very complimentary.
Okay, all right.
And ish. So, but I want to say, I see you believing a lot of these things, and I know this is the way you live your life. I know you get up in the morning and you journal and you do all those things. I know you do those things. And sometimes I try to picture you doing those things in place of myself doing those things. I'm Jen's doing it.
I'm doing it for you.
Correct.
Oh, all right.
You know what? She's grateful for things. I'm probably grateful for those things too.
Right.
So she's writing them down. I don't have to. It's kind of like this.
It's kind of oh, the podcast Jen's doing it, so I don't have to worry.
But I also see the other side, which is you struggling to find which answer is the right answer you're looking for instead of, and I've said this to you before, accepting the answers that come, whatever they are. Right. You're looking for an answer. You're looking for the answer. You know, and and what you were saying about not believing what you're saying in these mantras, I think that the positive affirmations was the one part of the manifesting challenge that I got. And that saying those words, it's you don't believe it the first time you say it.
Yeah.
You're kind of starting to believe it the second time. By the fifth time, oh, I am believing what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought she was going to say was keep saying it till you believe it. But she really kind of said well, say something that you do believe.
Right.
Or that you trust can actually,
right.
happen, I guess.
Right.
But like the thing that she was saying about like walking in the park and walking on the beach, like that makes so much sense.
It does.
And I never thought of that. Like I never thought of that. I always, like you said, like I get up in the morning, I do my meditation, I do my journaling, and it's like this thing that's part of my day. But
are you really doing it?
Am I really doing it? Like,
Yeah.
or am I going through the motions of doing it? And I didn't get to say that to her, but like, because sometimes I feel like, oh, this is a thing that I just do because it's a habit.
Right.
And I don't know, like sometimes I'm not.
Right. Like I was going to
it.
say, I shouldn't discount how much I need that walk in Central Park. Because I think I said to you the other night, I don't like to walk home. It gets dark pretty early. I don't like to get home. But there was, it was a nice night. It wasn't that cold. I had Oliver. It had a, rough day of work, rough other things going on. And I just like, God, I just really want to walk home.
Yeah.
And so I did. And by the time I got home, I was completely decompressed.
Yeah.
Instead of getting home, doing all the things that you do when you get home,
right.
I was like ready to do the things,
Yeah.
And so I need to allow myself to do that more, because that's really where I draw energy. I love Central Park so much. I draw energy from it.
Yeah.
And I think like you are the same, but you don't let yourself draw energy from the things you're actually drawing energy from.
I know. Well, two things. Like one, when she was, asking like, well, what is it that you like to do? And I was like, well, I can't say shopping. I can't say shopping. Don't say shopping. Like, let's keep
you shouldn't listen to the universe has your back while you're shopping.
Right. I was like, I can't say that. I can't. Let me think of something else.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, just talking about like energy and stuff too. Like, so I was telling you that I watched this documentary the other night called Earthing or something,
right?
Something, the Earthing movie or something it was called. And so I was going to say to you, like now there's snow on the ground, but to go outside and put your feet on the grass, the grass. And I'm thinking like, you should do that when you walk through Central Park. Just take your shoes off.
It's freezing cold.
Just for like a minute.
And I know what's happening in that grass.
Well, but you're drawing the electrons
from the earth. Yeah,
into your
from
body.
the earth. Yeah,
and it heals inflammation.
Wow.
This woman I'm getting so off topic, but the woman in this movie, she lost 30 pounds because she started grounding. But she started doing it because her kid, her little girl, was getting sick all the time, and she was always in the hospital. Blah blah blah. So one of these alternative doctors had said like, get her outside and roll around in the grass and just do it. And so she did it as they kept doing that with her daughter. Her daughter had less and less hospital visits. And then she herself was like, the doctor told her, I want you to try this. I want you to lay naked in the grass, just totally. And she was, I thought it was the craziest thing. I'm not doing that, and blah, blah, blah. And same thing. Like, I know what goes on in the grass. I don't want to be there naked, but she did it. And, she did it and did it and did it. And she's like, I wasn't trying to lose weight. Lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
Because all that inflammation was gone, but also it helped her sleep better. Right. So the sleep ties into the weight loss, like all those things.
All the things,
But anyway, we should have asked her about grounding and what she thought. I'm sure she has an opinion on that too. But Happy Days is the next book I have to read. I have it, but I just haven't read it.
Yeah.
So maybe that will be like the last piece of the puzzle for me.
Maybe. I just feel
my hope. What? I mean, you're like, I don't know. You're hopeless. You become hopeless. We're sitting here alongside my vision board.
There's a vision board. There's all sorts of like
quotes and things
and
there's
amulets.
Board over
here. There's like a goal board to my left. This is the thing: is that you are constantly searching and searching and searching. And I say to you, and she said to you,
I know, chill
relax.
Out.
Just relax.
Well, one of the other things that she says that she talks about too is like sometimes the thing that you think you want isn't really what you want,
right?
Or something better happens as a result of the thing that you didn't get because you were relaxed about it and that happened to you.
Yes, I mean I always think in regards. Sometimes that's true. That's true of you and I in our friendship in some ways because we met. And I thought we became friends for you to help me lose weight, which you did.
Right.
But the real reason is because a year in or two into our friendship, I got divorced, and you had gone through the exact same thing. And I was like, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, oh yeah, that's the reason we're friends, because of that.
Yeah.
And like, there's always a reason.
Yeah.
But you're right. It might not be what you think.
Or the thing, like the way that you get there isn't the way. Like, I'm always all about like abundance and prosperity and, making money and all of those things.
Yes.
And it's like, well, the way I think I'm going to make money may not be the way that actually it comes.
That's
So
right.
being open to
That's right.
other ways of getting the thing that you want.
I'll say you are very open to every opportunity that comes your way. You're the most.
I don't pass anything up.
No, you don't say no. Which
Well,
sometimes you should.
I know.
But I see the no's, but you don't. And I don't stop you.
I say yes to everything.
You say, Tim doesn't stop you either.
No.
Because I feel like that's part of you, like the searching part of you, Well,
also it's like, I don't ever want to miss an opportunity. I always think like, well, that could be an opportunity for something else. And and a lot of those things haven't worked out, but I don't regret doing them. I don't regret taking those
opportunities. Right, because you've met, certain people, or you've got introduced to other certain things.
Right. Everything leads you to the next thing, right? Like this podcast.
I agree.
We wouldn't be doing this.
Like
the pandemic happened.
Right.
I needed an outlet. We started a wellness group, this women's wellness group.
Right.
That
we started doing these Instagram lives.
Right.
And then we realized it was like, everyone was calling the Instagram lives a podcast.
We're like,
we're like, all right, let's do podcasts. And then here we are. We're like 6 months in, 7 months in.
Yeah. And we just had Gabby Bernstein.
I
mean, what's better than that?
Nothing. That's good. That's what it's all about.
So I have a little quote that I think we should end this with here. You can heal from your past. You can feel worthy of greatness. You can live a life beyond your wildest dreams. I will show you the way. It's one of her quotes.
Yeah. I think that she kind of did that with us a little bit.
Yeah, it's like that kind of sums up what she's about.
Yeah.
Right? Like she is here to teach people how to do this.
Right.
How to believe in it. And again, like she also said, not to force people and try to impose this on them.
It's funny. To show you how far I've come.
Yeah.
That we've just talked to her.
Yeah.
Is
what did you do?
You brought me to see her. You brought me to see her at St. John's Divine Church.
I did.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've totally forgot about that.
And remember, we were sitting up in the balcony, and I was like, what the hell is this?
I remember you were like, what am I doing here?
Yes. Like
that was like early on.
Very early.
But that was
early on after my divorce. And you were like, because I think this helped you.
Yeah. 'Cause I was gonna say,
this helped you through your divorce for sure.
Absolutely.
And you wanted that same, it was coming from a good place. Like you wanted to share.
But you were like,
I was like, it's not for me.
About it.
Yeah. But look at me now.
Look at you now.
Manifesting away. Got to day 6.
Out of 21.
Out of 21. Well, I had to be truthful with her.
Got to start somewhere. No, I think she appreciated that. I think she also appreciated the feedback of like, well, why is it that you...
Yeah, because I saw on day 6, there was like a 14-minute meditation. And I was like, I don't have time for this.
Isn't that so interesting though? Like how she said, like, and I understand, like everybody learns differently, but like,
quick.
That is, I am so the opposite of that. Ugh. Like you saw that and you were like, oh, I don't have time. Meanwhile, I look for meditations that are like, oh, is that going to be long enough? Am I going to get there? Am I
look at the time and I want it to be.
I need to know I'm going to get there.
Very short.
Anyway. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as we did.
Well, we enjoyed talking to Gabby Bernstein. We hope that you enjoyed listening to us. And, thanks for listening. I'm Lori Schulweis.
And I'm Jen Giamo.
And this was Everybody Talks.
Talk to you next time.
Take care.
For more information about our podcast, to learn more about us, and to catch up on all of our episodes, go to our website at everybodytalkspodcast.com.
Follow us on Instagram at Shuli, at Jen Giamo, and at Everybody Talks. And if you want to watch today's episode, go to our YouTube channel at Everybody Talks Podcast.
Join the Everybody Talks community by checking out our Facebook page where you can ask questions, post comments, and be part of the conversation.
And don't forget, if you like what you've heard, give us a 5-star rating, write a review, and tell a friend. We're for everybody and everybody. The Everybody Talks podcast is co-created, executive produced, and hosted by us, Lori Schulweis and Jen Giamo. Produced and edited by Eric Jackowitz.
Our theme song music is written and performed by Jackie Ryle and Aaron Navisi, with additional support from our pups, Oliver, Milo, and Murray.
Talk to you next time.